All right. So let's talk some football on the men's side of things. In this one, on today's roster, we have Rivers United finding out their CAF Champions League group. And spoiler alert, it is definitely not an easy group. Then we got Aliyu Zubairu, the under-20 coach, the Flying Eagles coach. He gets a job as a head coach over there in Egypt. We'll be talking about that. Then we get into the Super Eagles. There's an injury report. We're going to be talking about all these players on your screen right now. Then we're also going to be talking about Shehu Ajayi and his suspension situation. People saying he's suspended. I kind of think he's not, but we'll be talking about that a little bit. But first, before we get into any of that, please make sure to like this video. Really helps the channel with the algorithm and all that good stuff. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thank you very much. So yeah, first thing first, we're going to talk about Rivers United. Rivers United on Monday found out their opponents for the CAF Champions League group stage. And like I said, it's definitely not an easy affair out here. They've been placed in Group A alongside RS Berkane of Morocco, Pyramid FC of Egypt, and Power Dynamos FC of Zambia. Just from first looking, you can see how tough this group is. You have two teams from two of the biggest leagues in the continent, RS Berkane, Morocco, Pyramid FC, Egypt. And not just being from these top leagues, these are two teams that are seasoned vets when it comes to campaigning in the continent. So these are teams that know what they're doing from start to finish. They have everything planned out, everything mapped out. So it's going to be real tough for Rivers United to topple one of these teams at the least and make it into the next round of the competition. I feel like they just got to make their home a fortress. They got to win all their home games to even stand a chance, which is doable. I feel like if you can make their home base a fortress and poach one or two results away from home, who knows at the end of the day. Now, the first game for Rivers United will be played away from home in Egypt. Pyramid FC will be the game, and I feel like for the fans and the neutrals, this will kind of give you a gauge as to how much you think this team will be able to compete in this group. If they go out there and get whitewashed, then you're kind of like, okay, this team is not ready for this stage at this moment. But if they go up there and at least put up a fight and keep it respectful, I think that would give everybody confidence moving forward with this team in this competition. Now, that being said, so far so good. You definitely have to credit head coach of the side, Finidi George. I think he has done a fantastic job with this team. The only team to make it in the group stage of either CAF competition this season. And even when you look at what they're doing in the league, they're not really falling to the wayside. They're still keeping pace. So you definitely have to give him credit for the job that he has done. I feel like he has brought some good players in, and they've been doing their thing. So you definitely have to give him credit, and long may it continue. Now, speaking of coaches, we're going to move on to Coach Aliyu Zubairu, former head coach of the Flying Eagles, was the coach for the WAFU, the coach for the AFCON and the World Cup. Took the team to the round of 16 of the World Cup that just ended, the Under-20 World Cup. And now he has been appointed for an Egyptian club named Telecom SC, the head coach of the club, as you see right here on this Daily Post headline. And Telecom SC is a second division Egyptian club. They're currently seated at 7th on the league log. They've played 11 matches, won 4, drawn 6, and lost 1. 18 points out of those 11 matches, 10 goals scored, 7 conceded. So Aliyu Zubairu will be taking over. I think his next match will be in a week or something, if I'm not mistaken. And I feel like this is a good look right here. I mean, a perfect scenario would be that he has preseason with the team, able to gel with the team and know what's going on. But at the same time, you're coming into a team that is not in real panic mode. They're 7th on the table. I guess they needed something, a little boost, and they decided to bring in a new coach. And I feel like this is a situation, just with the numbers that I'm looking at, this is something you can work with if you're Aliyu Zubairu. Not too far away from the top. Of course, Your goal is to get the team in the first division. They've played 11 matches out of 34, 18 teams. So I'm thinking they played 34 matches for the season. So I feel like this is a good situation. Congratulations to him. Hopefully it works out. And I like to see more and more of this. I like to see more Nigerian coaches taking the challenge of coaching outside the country and seeing how far they move up with their endeavors. So definitely a good look right here. Shout out to Aliyu Zubairu, Coach Aliyu Zubairu. Hopefully his team does go into the first division next season and he makes his name out there. Now moving on to the Super Eagles, and we're going to talk about the injury report. We got a number of players that will not be part of the matchups coming up. Hopefully there are matchups, the playoffs in Morocco within a week. So first we're going to talk about Ola Aina. Ola Aina picked up an injury in the game against South Africa, a hamstring injury. The reports came out that he was going to be out for 3 months. I believe it's like 2 months gone now. And his head coach, almost a week ago, Sean Dyche at Nottingham, spoke about him, his recovery. Didn't really say much, but did bring up his name and said he was coming along well. So let's check out the clip real quick.
Who's not currently playing, but obviously part of the squad. He's opened up his knee ligaments. Woody's going to be possible for the Leeds game. He won't make this one. We'll have to see how that goes. Ola's making good progress. Zinchenko's a no at the moment, unfortunately, a bit longer than we thought. Backwards still a no, but making good progress.
So yeah, as you heard right there, not too much really, but he did say Ola Aina was coming along. So we don't know what the timetable on it is, but I don't think he meant that he's going to be playing anytime soon. I think maybe he'll be in training or something like that, because they did say 3 months and this is like 2 months. So I think maybe he's getting closer to being out there on the pitch with his team training and stuff, but I don't think he's there yet. With Ola Aina, I think the sights should be at the AFCON. I don't think he definitely won't be part of these playoff matches. So I think he should just be looking forward to the AFCON, getting healthy, getting a run of games, and let's go at the AFCON. Then you have Felix Agu, the player that plays for Werder Bremen, left back that plays for Werder Bremen. Of course, Ola Aina, right back, for those who don't know. But Felix Agu, left back. He was part of the squad that was supposed to play Lesotho and Benin Republic, was on the squad but didn't show because he picked up an injury right before the international break. And he wasn't even replaced on the team. But it's an ankle injury. A report that just came out said he'll be out for at least 2 more months. So real tough right there. That's kind of a doubt for the AFCON. So real tough right there. Of course, we do have options in his position, but definitely wishing him the quickest of recoveries. Then you move on to Cyriel Dessers. Cyriel Dessers, another player that was on that squad for the Lesotho Benin Republic World Cup qualifiers, but was replaced from that team. And he hasn't played a match since before that international break. September the 25th against Young Boys in the Europa League was his last match. I believe he played 20 minutes in that game coming off the bench. And since then, he has been out. An ankle strain is what they're saying. Don't know anything about the return. Of course, he plays for a team in Greece right now. Don't really know any information about his return, but definitely has not returned yet. Then we got Fisayo Dele-Bashiru of Lazio, midfielder who plays for Lazio. He has been out since September the 21st. Serie A matchup against Roma. It was his 4th straight start of the season, 4th straight league start of the season. Pulled up in that match, and ever since then he has been out. And what they say is it was a thigh injury that later developed into a grade 2 hamstring tear, whatever that means. But the reports are saying that he is closer to coming back on the pitch, to training with his club side. So that's definitely a good one right there. Looking forward to seeing him get on the pitch anytime from now. So I don't think he's going to be there, just like the other players. I don't think they're going to be there for the World Cup playoffs, but it's definitely good to see that he's coming close to being back on the pitch because he's been out for a while. Next, we got striker Terem Moffi, and Terem Moffi, kind of a strange situation. He got injured right after the international break. He played in that final match, was part of that final goal we scored against Benin Republic. Came on for like 5 or 10 minutes, and his impact was felt. After the break, he goes to his club, picks up an injury in training in real shady situations. Like the coach was asked about it. He said Moffi got injured in a light training, but other information is coming out that he only arrived at the club a few hours before training, was forced to train, and what do you know? He picks up that injury, which according to them, it will be a few weeks. At that time, that was in October. So they said it was a few weeks before he would return. And I feel like it's messed up. It's real messed up that his coach did that. A player just arrives at your team just a few hours before and you're like, come train. What are you training for? Let the player rest at least till the next day. And now we see he picks up the injury. So that's pretty messed up right there. Was not happy to hear about that. Has not been back with the club yet, but hopefully that happens sooner than later. Then last but not least, I'm going to talk about Oghenekaro Etebo. A couple of people have asked about him. Midfielder for the team. His last game with the team, if I'm not mistaken, was against Sao Tome, that whitewash of Sao Tome. I think he scored a beautiful free kick in that match, if I'm not mistaken. But that was his last stint with the Super Eagles. Has had issues with injuries. Right now, dealing with an injury, a long-term injury. First game of the season, picks up an Achilles injury in his first start. And since then, he has been out. What I'm seeing is that his return date will be next year around May, which is real tough. After his stint with Stoke City, of course, when he was with Stoke City, he was always being sent out on loan. Picked up a long-term injury in one of those stints, and I think it was right before he was about to be out of contract with Stoke. So once he was out of contract with Stoke, he was clubless for like a whole season. Then signs with a Turkish second division side, which is the side he's on right now. Plays with them. They get into the first division. First game of the season, he's got the captain armband on, and wham, picks up another long-term injury. So real tough right there for Oghenekaro Etebo. I do feel he's a big miss for the Super Eagles right now. I mean, this is a player that you would have envisioned will be playing for the team for years and years to come, and it was just abrupt that he was taken away from the team. And I feel like that's a big element missing, especially in that midfield. But definitely wishing him the quickest of recoveries. All the players we've spoken about, wishing them the quickest of recoveries. Then last but not least, we're gonna talk about Shehu Ajayi. What I'm seeing is that Shehu Ajayi is supposed to be missing the game against Gabon because he picked up 2 yellow cards. 1 yellow card in the first game of World Cup qualifiers against Lesotho. Then the second yellow card against Benin Republic in the final game of World Cup qualifiers. And I don't understand it because I was thinking the rules say that once the yellow cards, once you get 2 yellow cards on your final day, they don't carry over. Only red cards carry over from the preliminary round. So let me try to get this part real quick and read it to y'all, what I'm trying to say. So this right here is from the FIFA World Cup 2026 preliminary competition regulations, as you see right here. Now you got this part right here, yellow cards and red cards. The second section, single yellow cards and pending suspensions as a consequence of cautions received in different matches in the preliminary competition of the FIFA World Cup 2026 will not be carried over to the final competition. Pending match suspensions imposed as a result of direct or an indirect red card in matches in the preliminary competition of the FIFA World Cup 2026 will be carried over to the final competition. So in this situation, Shehu Ajayi picked up 2 yellow cards, and they're saying those yellow cards are not, the suspension for those 2 yellow cards is not going to be carried over into the final competition. And my question is, does the playoff count as preliminary competition or not? Now, if the playoff counts as a preliminary competition, then Shehu Ajayi will have to serve that suspension against Gabon. But if it doesn't, which they do have different names, one is the preliminary competition, one is the playoffs, I'm thinking Shehu Ajayi shouldn't have to serve a suspension in that match. But that being said, let me know your thoughts in the comment section, and please don't forget to like this video. Thank y'all for watching. Peace.